If you don't start with a budget, you don't know what you're saving, you don't know what you're adding into it. In my case study, I had a couple who've just started their full-time role. They had aspiration to buy a property. So they wanted to start with the very ground basics, which is let's start with the budget. The gentleman was earning about roughly around $130,000 there. She was in roughly about 90. So the gentleman was paying $130, earning a tax of roughly around $28,000. So the idea that we sort of worked with was we sort of got them to invest that money throughout the course of the year. And in June, we would make sure, and again, we've got to make sure the super fund also is eligible for that scheme, that they allow for that fund to sacrifice that amount of money, or what we would do is make a lump sum contribution of $15,000, which is what's allowed throughout the course of the year, and we would claim that as a tax deduction in July. We were trying to create a two-prong approach here. We were trying not only create a savings outside in their bank account, but also create a savings in the super. So we wanted to really accelerate that process of them buying a property in 5 years' time versus trying to do that in 3 years' time, and really build up that savings for their dream house. Not only we got them to save outside, but also in June, what we particularly get them to do is make that contribution of $15K, and in July they'd go and claim that as a tax deduction. And they were very excited about that, because in July, when they go to the accountant, once the notice of intent and all of that's been lodged, they'll go, I've made a contribution of $15,000, I'd like to claim that as a tax deduction. So now all of a sudden this gentleman received a nice little $4,000 check back. Mind you, obviously that contribution is obviously taxed 15% on the way in, but on the return side, you also got some of the money as a tax deduction. You've received that on your bank account. So that adds to your saving again. And then they start all over again the next year with the cycle